Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have that magnetic charm, always on someone's mind, while others struggle to make an impression? It can feel frustrating when you put in effort but don't get the response you hoped for. There's a saying that goes, you can't force someone to think about you, but you can make yourself unforgettable. And that's the key here, creating lasting impact in a way that keeps her thinking about you long after you've parted ways. In this video, I'll be revealing 5 powerful things you can do to make her think about you non-stop, and it's not about playing games or trying to be someone you're not. These simple actions will shift her perspective and make you stand out in her mind. Stick around till the end, because I'm about to share insights that could change everything for you. Show genuine self-confidence without arrogance. Alright, let's talk about something that's incredibly important but often misunderstood: genuine self-confidence. It's one of those things that can truly make you magnetic, but you've got to be careful not to tip the scale into arrogance. There's a big difference, you know? When you're genuinely confident, it's like you have this quiet power, this ease about you, but when it shifts into arrogance, it's like a spotlight goes on and it's glaring, uncomfortable, and just off-putting. I've learned that the hard way. I remember back in college, I met this guy who had a reputation for being incredibly self-assured. People would always say things like, "Oh, he's got it all together," or "he just knows who he is." But after spending some time with him, I realized something: he wasn't actually confident. It wasn't that he didn't believe in himself, it was more like he was constantly trying to prove he was better than everyone else. He'd throw in little jabs, act like he was above certain conversations, and if someone tried to challenge him, he'd get defensive. That's not confidence, that's insecurity wrapped in a shiny package. Genuine self-confidence is different. It's not about showing off, or trying to get people to think you're amazing. It's about being so comfortable with who you are that you don't need anyone's approval. You show up, you own your space, and you don't apologize for being you. I think it was the author Ryan Holiday who said, "Self-confidence is not the belief that you are better than others, but the belief that you don't need to compare yourself to others." It's like this quiet, internal peace that just radiates outwards. Think about the people you gravitate toward. Are they the ones constantly bragging about their accomplishments? Or are they the ones who just seem so at ease with themselves that you want to be around them? That's the kind of confidence that makes someone think about you long after you've left the room. Because when you're not trying so hard to impress, people pick up on that. There's a certain authenticity to it that can't be faked. It's also important to mention how this plays out in relationships. When you're genuinely confident, you're not going to be possessive or needy. You're secure enough in who you are to let someone have their own space, have their own life. You won't be chasing them down for validation or approval. Instead, you'll focus on living your own life in a way that makes you happy and fulfilled. And honestly, that's more attractive than anything else. People who are constantly seeking validation, they're exhausting. But someone who's got their own thing going on, who can stand tall in their own skin, that's magnetic. I've been there, too. I remember early in my own life, I used to feel like I needed to prove I was good enough, that I had it together. And looking back, I see now how exhausting that was. It wasn't until I started focusing on becoming the best version of myself for me, not anyone else, that things shifted. And that's the key. It's not about getting others to notice how great you are. It's about feeling it for yourself first. So, if you want her to think about you non-stop, don't worry about proving yourself. Just focus on being confident in who you are, without the need to push it in anyone's face. When you do that, you'll naturally create an atmosphere where people are drawn to your energy. And that kind of energy? That's what keeps them thinking about you long after you've walked away. Master the art of creating emotional mystery and intrigue. Let's dive into something that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful: emotional mystery. Now, I know what you might be thinking: what does that even mean? Why would I want to be a mystery? Well, stick with me here, because this is a game changer. Think back to the last time you met someone who had that thing about them. You know, that one person who, for whatever reason, you couldn't quite figure out. Maybe it was their eyes, maybe it was their smile, or maybe it was just the way they carried themselves. Whatever it was, there was something intriguing about them. And the more you tried to figure them out, the more you were drawn in, right? That, my friend, is emotional mystery at work. It's not about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. It's about giving just enough of yourself to make someone curious, but leaving enough unsaid that they want to know more. I remember a time when I met someone who seemed to have this aura around them. At first, they came off as super chill, laid back even. They didn't overshare, didn't go on and on about their past, their feelings, or their intentions. At first, I found it a bit odd, like, why aren't they opening up? But the more I spent time with them, the more I realized there was so much going on underneath the surface. They weren't closed off, they just knew when to hold back and when to reveal little bits of themselves. And that's what kept me thinking about them. Here's the thing, people, especially when they're attracted to someone, crave that sense of curiosity. If you lay everything out for them in the beginning, where's the fun in that? Where's the mystery? Where's the challenge? A great quote by Maya Angelou comes to mind. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that feeling of curiosity? That sticks. That lingers. Now, I'm not talking about being elusive or shady. That's a whole different thing. Emotional mystery isn't about hiding your true self, it's about mastering the art of timing. It's about knowing when to reveal a little and when to pull back. It's about keeping things fresh, keeping them on their toes. You know how you sometimes hear people say, I just can't figure them out? Well, when done right, that's a good thing. It doesn't mean you're playing games, it just means you're showing up in ways that keep people interested, without giving everything away. Think about it like this, the best novels, the ones that keep you up at night turning pages, are the ones where the plot isn't fully revealed in the first chapter. There's tension. There's suspense. And you don't get the full story until the right time. You've got to keep a little of your emotional landscape behind the curtain, just enough to make them want to pull it back and take a look. One of the most interesting things I've learned over the years is that the people who are most captivating aren't always the loudest or the most extroverted. They're the ones who speak with intention, share moments, but leave gaps. Gaps that make you wonder, what's going on in their world? Those little pauses? They're powerful. The beauty of emotional mystery isn't that it makes you hard to get, it makes you worth getting. So, if you want her thinking about you non-stop, don't spill your entire life story in the first conversation. Share enough to make her think, there's more to this person than meets the eye. And trust me, that's what will make her keep coming back to figure you out. Focus on your passions and goals to be more attractive. Alright, let's talk about something that might sound a bit cliché, but trust me, it's anything but focusing on your passions and goals. You've probably heard it 100 times, do what you love, and success will follow, but here's the kicker, it's not just about chasing your dreams for the sake of self-fulfillment. It's about the magnetic energy that comes with being truly involved in something you care about. That energy? It's contagious. And it makes you more attractive than any polished pickup line or flashy gesture ever could. Let me take you back a bit. A few years ago, I was in a place where I felt a little lost. I had a lot of things I was supposed to do, but none of them really fired me up. You know the feeling, like you're on a treadmill, running but not really getting anywhere. And during that time, I noticed something interesting. The people I was drawn to, the ones who really caught my attention, weren't the ones trying to impress me with their looks or their stuff. Nope. They were the ones who were so consumed by their work, their hobbies, or their vision that it was like they lived in a different world, a world that, for a moment, I wanted to be a part of. There was something magnetic about their focus. And that's when I realized passion and ambition are attractive, not because they make you better than anyone else, but because they make you real. When you're deeply involved in something that matters to you, it's like you're glowing. It's the kind of glow that comes from living with purpose. And here's the secret: when someone is passionate about what they do, it's impossible not to notice. You don't need to brag about how great you are, how successful you've become, or how much you've accomplished. It's the way you talk about your passions, the way your eyes light up when you discuss something you care about. That energy is infectious. It makes people stop and listen, and it makes them want to know more. And trust me, when someone sees that kind of energy in you, they can't help but think about you. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about attractiveness is that it's all about looks. Sure, physical attraction is important, but it fades. What really holds people's attention over time is emotional and intellectual connection. And that connection usually comes from sharing something deeper than surface-level conversation. If you're just floating through life, without something that genuinely excites you, how can you expect anyone else to be excited about you? Here's where the psychological magic happens. People who are passionate are interesting. It's that simple. When you're fully invested in something, whether it's a creative project, a sport, or building a business, you become an active participant in life, not just a spectator. And let's be real, no one wants to be around someone who's just sitting on the sidelines. Think about it. What's more attractive? A person who's just waiting for life to happen to them, or someone who's so deeply engaged in something they love that it feels like they're creating their own future, their own reality? And here's the thing, passion also helps you develop a sense of resilience. When you're working towards a goal that matters, setbacks don't feel like failures, they feel like part of the journey. You'll have a certain calmness, a certainty, that's magnetic to others. People find that kind of confidence and inner strength so appealing. You don't need to have everything figured out, but showing that you're committed to something bigger than yourself? That's attractive. In the end, when you focus on your passions and goals, you're not just doing it for your own growth. You're also creating a ripple effect that draws others in. And if you want her to think about you non-stop, let your passion and vision shine through. Show her that you're not just waiting around for life to happen. Show her that you're out there making things happen, and trust me, she'll be captivated. Display emotional maturity and control in all situations. Let's talk about something that I honestly think is one of the most attractive qualities you can develop, but it's often overlooked: emotional maturity and control. I mean, think about it. Have you ever been around someone who, no matter the situation, just seems to keep their cool? Someone who doesn't lose their temper at the drop of a hat or get all flustered when things go south? You just know there's something different about them. Something about the way they handle stress, frustration, or conflict with ease, without getting caught up in the moment. It's like they're in control of their emotions, not the other way around. I remember a time when I was far from emotionally mature. It was actually a relationship I was in a few years ago. There were these moments, small arguments, really, that would just send me over the edge. I would get defensive, shoot off my mouth, or sometimes shut down completely and ignore everything. I thought that was just how I was supposed to react. You know, like if I was upset, I needed to show it. I didn't realize how much that kind of behavior could push someone away. In my mind, I was just being real, but in reality, I was coming across as insecure and reactive. It wasn't until much later that I learned the power of taking a step back, breathing, and thinking before reacting. Emotional maturity isn't about bottling everything up or pretending to be a robot. It's about understanding your feelings, owning them, and having the presence of mind to choose how to respond. There's this great quote by Aristotle: anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy. That, right there, is emotional maturity in a nutshell. It's about choosing your reactions thoughtfully. Here's the thing about emotional control, it makes you stand out. Think about the times when you've seen someone lose their cool, whether it's in a heated argument, in traffic, or just at the slightest inconvenience. How does it make you feel? I know for me, it's often uncomfortable. It's like, whoa, this person isn't handling this well. But when you see someone stay composed, even when things get messy, you can't help but admire them. They exude this kind of silent strength, a quiet power that's incredibly attractive. You get the sense that they're grounded, that they can weather the storm without letting it shake them. And here's the thing, emotional maturity doesn't mean you never feel emotions or that you need to always have it together. We're all human. We all feel anger, sadness, frustration, joy, excitement. What matters is how we channel those emotions. Do you let your anger dictate your actions? Or do you acknowledge it, breathe, and take a step back to process before responding? It's about creating that space between stimulus and response, where you get to decide how you react. I can't tell you how many times I've been in situations where I could have easily snapped or let my emotions get the best of me, but instead, I chose to pause, reflect, and respond with more thoughtfulness. That's when I've seen relationships strengthen. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, showing that you can handle the emotional ups and downs of life with maturity. It builds trust. It shows that you're reliable, that you can handle challenges without making them bigger than they need to be. And let's be real here, that is the kind of person people want around. If you want her to think about you non-stop, show her that you're someone who doesn't crumble at the first sign of difficulty. That you can stay calm under pressure. That you don't let small setbacks define you. You'll be amazed at how much respect, attraction, and admiration you'll earn. It's not about being perfect, it's about being in control, even when life gets messy. That's what leaves a lasting impression. Be attentive and present, but not overly available or clingy. Let's talk about something that sounds simple, but it's a real balancing act, being attentive and present, but not overly available or clingy. It's funny how many people get this one wrong, especially early on in relationships. It's like they think, if I'm always there for them, if I drop everything to be available at a moment's notice, they'll see how much I care. But here's the truth, being too available doesn't actually make you more attractive. It makes you less interesting, and in the worst case, it can make you come off as desperate. And I'm pretty sure none of us want that, right? I remember when I first started dating someone who was super into me. At the beginning, it felt nice, texts, calls, constant attention. But soon, it started to feel a bit too much. I found myself thinking, okay, we just saw each other yesterday, why do they keep reaching out today? The constant communication, while well-meaning, ended up feeling like a bit of a pressure cooker. It's like they were trying to lock me in, keep me on a short leash. The excitement that should have been there slowly faded into a feeling of being smothered. It's crazy how quickly that can happen. And the funny thing? I probably would have been more drawn to them if they had just let things breathe a little more. That's where the magic lies, in being present, but not pushing it. Think about it, when you're truly present with someone, you're there mentally, emotionally, and physically. You give them your full attention when you're together, you listen to what they're saying, you're genuinely interested in their thoughts and feelings. And here's the thing, when someone feels truly seen and heard, they begin to value your time and attention more. It's like they want to hold onto those moments because they're rare, meaningful. And that makes them think about you long after you've left. But, and this is where a lot of people mess up, you can't be available all the time. People need their own space, their own time to process things. The more you're constantly on call, the less your presence becomes valued. It starts to feel like you're always there, and that's when the mystery starts to fade away. And with no mystery, what's left to keep someone intrigued? Nothing, really. There's this psychological concept that's super relevant here called the scarcity effect. It's the idea that the less available something is, the more we tend to value it. This applies to people too. When you're always there, when you're always around, it can feel like you're too accessible, too easy to get. And that can make you less appealing. But when you have your own life, your own things going on, when you're busy chasing your own passions and goals, it makes your time together feel more special. You become that thing they look forward to, the rare gem in a sea of distractions. A while back, I learned the hard way how crucial this balance is. I got caught up in wanting to be the best partner, always available, always ready to drop everything for someone else. It wasn't until things started feeling too heavy, too constant, that I realized I wasn't giving them room to miss me. When I stopped overcommitting and gave both myself and the other person space to breathe, the whole dynamic shifted. Suddenly, when we did spend time together, it felt more exciting, more energizing. I wasn't just a fixture in their day, I became someone they wanted to spend time with. And that shift? It made a world of difference. The key is to be there when it counts. Be present when you're together, really listen, really engage. But don't overdo it. Leave room for curiosity, for space, for moments apart. Because trust me, when you get the balance right, it's that kind of energy that keeps someone thinking about you long after you've parted ways. And there you have it, guys. By mastering these 5 steps, you'll shift your energy in a way that has her thinking about you, all while keeping your own growth at the center. The key is confidence, mystery, and self-respect. Keep those in check and watch the magic happen. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share with someone who needs to hear this. Stay focused, stay grounded, and let the right energy attract what's meant for you.